everybody, welcome on back. I am Buzz the Noob, and thank you for coming back to the YouTube channel. I know it's been a very long time since I made a video, but I really do appreciate you coming out to watch this video. So this is going to be my very first attempt at making the tier list, and I am going to go with the ranking of the tanks as they currently stand before pre-patch going into Shadowlands launch. Now, I am going to caveat this with a couple things. One, this is my opinion. It could be crap. It could not be. So take that as it is. Two, all the tanks are good and will be able to be played at a reasonable level. Now, if you're looking for cutting edge tanks, and you need to be looking at everybody's tier list and trying to figure it out, and you're probably playing the beta anyways, you need to be figuring out what's going to be the cutting edge tanks. This tier list is more for what tanks do I think are really good and feel in a really good place right now and will be good the entire expansion. I am also not taking into account Covenant abilities or Conduits or Soulbinds. This is just literally the base classes of the tanks. I don't care how Blizzard tries to manipulate and fix them with borrowed power, and we'll talk about that when we talk about the Warriors, why I don't care. Alright, so how do the tanks stand up? So let's start with our S tier, shall we? Alright, so the first tank that I'm picking in here is going to be my Blood Death Knight. Now I'm putting them in here as the S tier. A couple reasons for that. Obviously, self-healing. We're still the kings of self-healing as Blood Death Knights. Until something drastic changes, that's not going to change. We also got Lichborn back, so you can get out of stuns and slows and items like that. Some crowd control with your Lichborn. You also have Anti-Magic Zone back. So that also allows you to have that more utility for your group, and there is a lot of magic damage in the dungeons in the beta. So that's going to be a big deal, be able to help with your healers with that, on top of the fact that they don't really need to heal you. Also, they made Ossuary baseline, so instead of having to burn a talent on, well, we're all going to take anyways, they made that a baseline spell. So that's just made our death strikes, you know, cheaper all the time. As long as you keep five bone shields up, you're fine. So keep that in mind. With that said, short of some gigantic nerfs coming down to the Blood Death Knights, they're going to be S tier. They are going to, and I think they're going to be that way the entire expansion. And I think that's just how it's going to roll. So what do we have in A tier? Well, we're going to put my favorite, the Protection Paladin, in A tier. Again, maybe a little bias, okay? But frankly, the control you can get with your Protection Paladin, with as many casters and everything as there is in Shadowlands, with your shield and your interrupt and your stuns, we just have more than everybody else. So that's going to be really important. However, I honestly kind of wanted to put them in the S tier because they are dealing out butt tons of damage too. So if you're more of a tank that's like, I have to do tons and tons of damage, Protection Paladin is where you probably want to be at, because they're really, really strong, and they're doing, I think they're doing the most damage out of all the tanks. That's always subject to change, but as of right now, they're right up there. But a couple reasons they didn't make it is Shield of the Righteous got nerfed, and then it got buffed, and then it got nerfed, and then it got buffed, and nobody knows where Shield of the Righteous is going to land at. So it's just kind of up in the air right now. It's still a good spell. It still doesn't have a target cap, so that's both good things. They still have to be in front of you, and it still costs holy power. But all that said, you're looking pretty good with Shield of the Righteous. But another reason why is because our Word of Glory, our self-heal, got to the point where we now have to cast 5 Shields of the Righteous to get 1 free Word of Glory. And that wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't for the fact that instead of 1 Shield of the Righteous charge, one of those charges you get from that Shield of the Righteous cast fell off at a time, as opposed to right now, if you're out of combat long enough for that to fall off, you lose all of them. So you just finished up 1 pack of mobs, you've got 4 casts of Shield of the Righteous, and you got 10 seconds to get to the next mob, next pack of mobs, you're screwed. Sorry. Hope you got a charge so you can, just waste that and have that free Word of Glory. Now, that once you have that free Word of Glory, it just sticks around. But you also don't start getting new stacks until you've cast that Word of Glory. So keep that in mind too. So if you're not needing that free Word of Glory cast on yourself, maybe cast it on somebody else, or just pocket it and hold on to it, and you've got it for when you need it. Next tank. Let's put up Brewmaster Monk. Okay. Biggest reason Brewmaster Monk is in the A tier as opposed to the S tier. 2 of them. Damage is still not real high on the Brewmaster Monk. And they really need a healer. Their self-healing has been nerfed. And so that you really have to have a healer with you all the time. Again, you have your stagger. So don't be surprised to see them in cutting edge, world first rating. That they're going to be there just because they can survive more than anybody else because of stagger. And then with the Celestial Brew, their new shield that they get, that's going to make a big difference. So, but again, the fact that I use my tier list for raids and Mythic Plus, this is where I'm at. So if it was just raiding, Brewmaster obviously would be S tier because of their dependence on a healer inside Mythic Plus. I gotta knock them down to an A tier because that's, you have to have a healer on you constantly, because even when you're not in combat, you're still losing health to stagger. Really solid. They're going to be really, really good, really fun to play with. Now, I had a surprise when I started thinking about how I wanted to rank my tanks and how they felt when I played them in the beta. And yeah, there it is. Vengeance Demon Hunter. I like Vengeance's playstyle. I really do. I've always liked the playstyle. It's fun. It's stupid. You jump around and act a fool. And you're just all over the place. And you're really fast. And you've got these 2 glaives. And you're just punching people in the face all the time. So to me, it's kind of when I'm breaking from being when I'm really thinking about tanking and playing more of my blood or my prot or my prot warrior or prot paladin, I go play Vengeance, right? And another part of that is because Vengeance hasn't been real strong in any content for quite a while. But I think they're going to be a surprise. With the demonic build and getting all that extra meta from your Fell Devastation, I really think that Vengeance is going to be a surprise, really strong tank. Now, I'm going to say they are still suffering from not having like a middle defensive, something in the ways of like Nazao or Dancing Ruin Weapon. They don't really have that. They've got Fiery Brand, but that's only on a single target, and it's not that good. So I just really wish they had like a middle defensive, because they got Metamorphosis, they got Fiery Brand, which is and obviously Demon Spikes are your active mitigation, but just nothing in that realm, that middle realm of defensiveness. So I still don't see why we don't get Darkness or Blur. I mean, especially with the on-pruning, but it's not going to happen at this point. Would have been nice if it did, and we would have got either or of those. That really would have helped from our companion spec. But it is what it is, so whatever, man. So we'll let it go. But it was kind of a surprise to me. I didn't really expect to rank them that high, but honestly, just between the fun of the play style and the fact that I think they're stronger than some people are giving them credit for right now, but I'm going to put them up in the A tier. Now, my B tier, again, probably a little bias showing here, okay? I will be totally upfront with you guys. I despise the play style of the Guardian Druid. It just, as much as I love the play style of the Demon Hunter, the Guardian Druid makes me want to go, probably like this video is to some of you. And I cannot really get into their playstyle, and there's nothing that I can really put my hands on what's wrong with the Guardian Druid. They've got good defensives, they've got decent self-healing inside of the bear form, and the biggest thing that I can to try to justify my placement of them in a B tier, besides my own bias, is that to do our other self-heals, we have to come out of bear form, and then with Swiftmend using up a hot, we now have to cast a hot on ourselves outside of bear, and then cast Swiftmend on ourselves, and then go back into bear. So we're using up 2 global cooldowns to heal ourselves back up and go back into our bear form, which doesn't really work. It may work in a raid situation. They're also still missing good magic mitigation. They don't really have that, so that also helps justify people are looking for, besides the fact that this play style is boring, the magic mitigation is not very good on bears. Again, just relying on being a big, health sponge and eating everything like that. So my last tank that I'm going to place is going to be my Protection Warrior. Now, I love the playstyle of Protection Warrior. I think it's super fun. I think it's great. So this is not a bias thing. This is actually, I'm really friggin' sad about this. My 2 tanks that I want to play the most are Protection Warrior and Protection Paladin, okay? Those are the 2 I'm going to play the most. Well, actually, I'm going to be honest, my top 4 are what I'm going to play the most, but those are the 2 I want to play the most. I like the sword and board field of tanking. So that's what I like to do. But the friggin' Blizzard, because Warrior was so strong from about middle of BFA all the way through the 8.3, they just nerfed this class into the ground, man. And they took like a friggin' sledgehammer and then jackhammered on top of that and got a friggin' tank to drive over what was left of it, and they really hammered it into the ground. Now, they're not going to be incapable of tanking at all. They're going to be okay, especially once you start, but see, I'm not ranking this stuff, but once you start adding in your conduit abilities and soulbinds and all that crap, all the borrowed power we're getting again, they're going to be okay. They're still not going to be anywhere near where we're used to them being for the last year and a half or so. However, that again is due to losing all the borrowed power from the Azerite. And then on top of that, Blizzard just took the talent tree, ripped it all apart, threw it in the air, let their 4-year-old kid put it all back together and say this is a talent tree. We have like nothing that's really synergizing on the talent tree for the Protection Warrior. It's like, oh, I really want to do these 2 that are both on this row, but that doesn't work. And if I do this one, that doesn't work with the ones down here on this row that I want to work. It's a hot fracking mess. And they have moved some talents around and it's gotten better, but it's still not good. Basically, and I refuse to put them in the D tier because that to me would say they're just gone. And they're not. With that said, if you only played a Protection Warrior because lottie-dottie everybody else over on Raider.io was doing it and they all had the big old IO scores and you were hungry for that, jump off the bandwagon, brother, because it ain't there no more, okay? Undoubtedly, most of those type of people are going to re-roll your Blood Death Knights. Because I really think, as far as Raider.io score, those guys are going to be kings like they were back in Legion. Yeah, back in Legion, they were the gods back then. So I think that'll be the same again. With that said, again, guys, none of the tanks are so bad they are unplayable. I have my biases on what I like to play. That's Guardian Druid does not follow in that. However, it is a good tank. It can get the job done if you enjoy that particular play style. The same to be said for all of these. Okay, this is where I see the cutting edge people taking stuff, though. I see tons of what I see in raids. The first raid, I expect to see a Blood and a Brewmaster combo. That's what I expect to see in there. For Limit, for Echo, for all those guys, I expect to see that. Unless something changes between now and the raid launch. At any rate, that's my thoughts on the tanks. I don't want to get this video too long because I've been gone for a while and want people to come back. I will be making more videos as I come up with some ideas. So if you guys have any questions, please shoot them down below. I will be linking my Facebook account as well, and I'm streaming on there through the first week of launch, just trying to make it a little easier for some people to find me. Because I've been streaming on Twitch and not getting a lot of success there, so I figure I'll try Facebook for a while. So if you guys want to follow me down there, give me a view. I do stream Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 7:30 to 10. And I will talk to you guys later. Please give this video a like and a subscribe to the channel, guys. Appreciate it.